shocking the nation. Fox News alert: two National Guardsmen gunned down in Washington, D.C. just before the Thanksgiving holiday. 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom passed to glory, in the words of her father, while 24-year-old Andrew Wolf continues to fight for his life. And with that, we bring in Madeline Rivera live in Washington with the latest. Madeline.
Kaylee, federal officials are adamant they want the death penalty for the suspect, 29-year-old Ramanullah Lockenwall. New video obtained by the Wall Street Journal shows part of the shooting unfolding on Wednesday afternoon. The video taken by a witness shows the suspect holding a gun as a National Guardsman runs down the street. 5 seconds later, the outlet reports the Guardsman fires loud shots. Lockenwall is now facing first-degree murder for the death of 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom, as 24-year-old Andrew Wolf remains in critical condition.
Andrew is fighting for his life right now, and his family and all of his friends, they're trying to harvest as many prayers as possible from.
Okay. So what's up? Welcome to the video. This is Justin Paul. And of course, you know, if you haven't heard, there was a shooting in DC of two National Guardsmen, and one was, you know, fatally killed. So, you know, my condolences to the family again, because, you know, no one wants to lose, you know, their child at all. Her name was Sarah Beckstrom, and right now, Andrew Wolf, the other guardsman that was shot, he's currently in critical condition, fighting for his life. So, you know, we are praying that he's able to recover, and they are looking to seek the death penalty for the 29-year-old suspect, who originated from Afghanistan, who committed or who's accused or a suspect as far as this shooting. And, you know, just very horrible. You know, as we, you know, was looking at the video, it looks like, you know, the guardsmen were engaging, the National Guardsmen was engaging, and you know, the suspect has a history as far as, you know, being in what they call a death squad. He has training from like CIA, and you know, he was a part of a group that would go out and, you know, fight against you know, rebel forces. And seems like he came over here when they had that big you know, that big withdrawal from Afghanistan, and, you know, they were just letting people into America. Seems like he was able to get into America that way, laid low, and you know, came out and just committed these acts. So still waiting on the motive. So that's, you know, that's yet to be brought forth. I'm sure they've interviewed him, interrogated him, you know, extensively. So they probably do know the motive. They're just not going to release that to the public because, you know, there may be more to it than what we know. And I seen where Trump has sent like 500 more troops to DC, and it's just a very, very tragic situation. Should have never happened, honestly. So we know that the National Guard was in DC to try to, you know, curb crime and try to, you know, assist with, you know, citizens wanting to live a normal life, and just patrolling, and, you know, just doing stuff that would kind of bring DC back to a sense of calmness, because you know, DC is one of the areas, or one of the cities that was or Washington DC, one of the cities that were, you know, getting a little out of hand as far as crime went. And that's why, you know, presence of troops still in that area. And now with this happening, y'all can bet that it's gonna be more troops. Like, you know, Trump has already, you know, sent to DC. So you know, the lawmakers are looking to, you know, definitely get the death penalty. I don't see what would stop them from pursuing the death penalty in this situation, especially with one of the service members being dead and another critically injured. That's enough right there. But I'm gonna let the video finish and see what other information we can gather here.
All of his friends, they're trying to harvest as many prayers as possible from all across the country, all across the globe, to help him recover.
Investigators have yet to say what publicly motivated Lockenwall to drive cross country from Washington state to D.C. to carry out this attack.
That's a long drive from Washington State all the way across country to DC. So, you don't just do something like that without it being a reason for you to do that. Like, that had to be planned. Maybe not those two specific, but you probably had a plan of, as soon as I get to DC and get myself together and set up, I'm going to find, whoever's patrolling and commit this act of terror. In my opinion, this is definitely an act of terror, um, especially with his background and being from another country and stuff like that. We definitely have to take this serious. We don't know if there's other cells that's within the United States. Um, if this was just phase one, we have no clue. I'm sure the feds who are probing and interrogating him, um, they're doing everything possible to figure out a motive, find out if there's any others that are associated with him, any plans or anything like that. They're doing. I'm sure they got a whole team working on this extensively. So we'll just have to wait for updates. But any update I get, I'm gonna definitely look to react to it and keep y'all informed.
Lockenwall was vetted by the intelligence community for his work with the CIA in Afghanistan. He would have also been screened before receiving asylum earlier this year. But the administration maintains there were gaps in the process during the chaos of the Afghanistan withdrawal, which is when Lockenwall came here to the U.S. Now they're cracking down on immigration. In one of their latest moves, Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the State Department is pausing visas for all travelers with Afghan passports. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services is also pausing all asylum decisions. The agency says that order will remain until they can ensure every foreigner is screened to the maximum degree. Kaylee.
Madeline.
I'm sorry, as you guys hear, they're shutting down all visas from Afghanistan, and they're saying they're going to make sure that everyone from that region is vetted effectively before allowing them into the country. And if you are here from Afghanistan, then you best believe they're going to be watching you very closely now, especially if they have a location on you. As they were saying, there were gaps like this withdrawal from Afghanistan. This happened during the Biden administration. A lot of people are not really aware of that. Some people are aware and just sweeping under the rug. But that was chaos at that airport, and it was just, it was just everything, man. You had people just doing any and everything to try to get out of Afghanistan, and I've seen people hanging on to the wheels of the airplanes, and it's a lot of people who lost their lives trying to get out of Afghanistan. But you had people who were prepared for that type of thing, and even if they didn't have nothing but themselves, they went and they made sure that they were on one of those planes where they weren't keeping no head count. They wasn't really vetting them effectively before taking off or anything like that. It was just complete mayhem. So if you guys haven't seen it, you definitely want to search it on YouTube or Google, and look at images or some of the videos from that. Like they're gonna have definitely old news clips. Maybe in a future video I'll have one of those clips queued up so I can show it and just show the mayhem that happened during that time. But we're gonna keep a close eye on this. His name is Lockenwall. That's his, excuse me, that's his last name, Lockenwall. And we don't want to make this guy famous. We really don't want to encourage others to, do the same type of thing or even worse. So, we really don't want to make this guy famous. We definitely want to remember Seven Beckstrom and praying for Andrew Wolf, and hopefully he's able to recover. Again, if you like my content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I love to hear, what you guys have to say in the comments. I'm going to, at this point, respond to everyone, or, give you, a like or a heart. And I appreciate the support. I appreciate, everyone who has followed me thus far. And I definitely appreciate everyone who takes time to watch my long form content. I'm gonna keep going, and we'll see what's coming up next. Every day is something. It's a lot of stories out there that I see. I say, well, I might not want to have a reaction to that. So I try to react to stuff that I feel like is I'm definitely interested in it, but I feel like it's very interesting, and it's definitely stuff that people need to be aware of. So again, like, comment, and subscribe. This is Justin Paul. Peace.